Hi everybody, Al Bernstein here with another one of our quick hit videos. This is part of our countdown to Mayweather Pacquiao as we head into fight week, and we're into fight week already, hard to believe, as we get ready for the fight on Saturday, May 2nd. Now on this particular quick hits, we're going to talk about the common opponents of the two fighters, and we'll get into that in just a moment. But first, I want to mention something that's going to be happening during the week. Of course, there are great activities all through the week in Las Vegas that so many people are going to be availing themselves of. One of them involves me. On Friday, May 1st at 8 p.m., the night before the fight, I will be making an appearance at Legacy Stadium, which is the very fine race and sports book at the Palazzo, and that'll be Friday, May 1st. And you see the phone number on your screen for the to call. You need to call to make reservations to get there, because the seating is kind of limited. There's no charge, but you just have to call to make reservations. I'll be talking about the fight, the matchup for the fight, and be on hand to sign autographs and do pictures. And of course, the Legacy Stadium, if you haven't been there, is a terrific site. Not only does it have the food by the great Emeril Lagasse, but it is just a very, very terrific layout. You can see how nice it is, and all those seats will be where you guys can hang out, and I'll be doing a question and answer period with all of you. And as I said, I'll be on hand to sign and also take pictures with everyone. So it's Friday, May 1st at Legacy Stadium at the Palazzo. Give them a call to make a reservation, and then come on over, and we'll have some fun. Now here, let's get to the topic at hand of today's quick hits. Normally, I don't put too much stock in the common opponents between two fighters, because boxing is so much a sport that has to do with the styles of individual fighters. So you can go back and look at what they've done against common opponents, and a lot of times it doesn't tell you as much as you'd like. But I thought we'd do it in this instance because there are some intriguing things about the common opponents for these two men, and they have a number of common opponents. Let's start out with Oscar De La Hoya, who of course is an iconic fighter who has fought both Pacquiao and Mayweather. Now, interestingly, the Pacquiao fight with De La Hoya was one that came well after. Let's take a look at Mayweather and his fight with De La Hoya, and that one came earlier in De La Hoya's career, in which Oscar De La Hoya was still close in 2007 to his top form, and Mayweather and he engaged in a very close fight, a match in which De La Hoya lost a split decision, but had his moments in the fight, and for the beginning part of the fight was using his jab very effectively, and it was a pretty close fight. Now, by the time Pacquiao would fight him several years later, we would see Oscar De La Hoya who had come back to the sport, had a hard time making 147 pounds. It was very difficult for him, and Manny Pacquiao completely dominated him. And in this instance, the comparison between the two doesn't offer us as much, because De La Hoya was an older fighter. However, it was still an intriguing matchup to look at in terms of these two men. Now we move on to the fights with Miguel Cotto, which are also very interesting. For Pacquiao, for Mayweather, I should say, fighting Miguel Cotto turned out to be a pretty tough fight for him. Cotto won at least 3 rounds in the fight, maybe 4, and bloodied Mayweather's nose. And even though Mayweather clearly won the decision, it was one of the tougher fights that Mayweather had. Now, the interesting thing is for Pacquiao, who fought Cotto earlier, so he fought Cotto 4 years prior to the Pacquiao fight. So he gets a younger, more vibrant Miguel Cotto, and he doesn't have a tough fight with him at all. He dominates Miguel Cotto and punished him severely in this fight in stopping him. And it was an extraordinary performance by Pacquiao. So in that instance, we see that these two men have very different results. Now, we'll move ahead now to Hatton as their common opponent. And Ricky Hatton provided each of them with a different kind of contrast as well. For Floyd Mayweather, who fought Hatton first, he did knock out Hatton, though it took him a while in the fight, not till round 10. Finally got to Hatton, sent him down, and was able to win by knockout. For Manny Pacquiao, it was a different story. Early in the fight, he was able to get to Ricky Hatton and send him down in the second round and win that fight very dramatically. And it was one of the fights in which he showed tremendous power. That was when Pacquiao was knocking people out, even at 147, and Hatton was one of the victims of that. So again, there we're not looking at things that make a huge difference. Shane Mosley also provides an interesting comparison between the two fighters. When Mayweather fought Shane Mosley, though he dominated almost all of the fight, there was a moment early in that fight when Floyd Mayweather was hit by a big right hand by Shane Mosley. He was rocked, almost went down, was hurt again in that round, but then immediately in the following round took control of the fight and was able to dominate Shane Mosley and win the fight. When Manny Pacquiao fought Mosley, and it was after the Mayweather fight, he was able to control Mosley almost from beginning to end. He would have Mosley down in the fight. It wasn't a quick-paced fight, and it wasn't there wasn't a lot of wild action, but Manny Pacquiao controlled the fight really completely. Now, to this point, we've looked at fights in which, if you took all of them in the body of work, you might say, well, Manny Pacquiao's done better against common opponents overall, especially given when they fought and all the rest of it. That brings us to the final common opponent, and it might be the most intriguing one because of what it says about the style of this fight. Juan Manuel Marquez fought Manny Pacquiao 4 times, and Floyd Mayweather fought him once. And when we look at the Mayweather fight, when he fought Juan Manuel Marquez, Mayweather controlled literally every second of this fight. Many people, including me, thought Juan Manuel Marquez might get some things done in this fight. Mayweather came in off a long layoff, and Marquez is a skilled fighter. But Mayweather was brilliant on that night and won the battle of the 2 counterpunchers decisively. Now, as for Manny Pacquiao, he's had a different kind of experience with Marquez. This is the one that's in everyone's mind, the knockout in the final fight, the 4th fight between these 2 men. Now, Pacquiao had won 2 of the fights by close margin, had a draw, and then they fought the 4th time, and Marquez knocked him out. It should be noted, however, that Manny Pacquiao was coming back in this fight and actually had damaged Marquez's nose, and they had Marquez in all kinds of trouble in the very round in which he got knocked out in. So Manny Pacquiao was doing well in that fight. Now, why is Marquez important? Marquez is important because he is a counterpuncher, much like Floyd Mayweather is as well. And it is the counterpunching and the straight right hands of Marquez that gave Manny Pacquiao trouble. And so if there is a blueprint stylistically to how Mayweather would seize Pacquiao in trouble, it's in this fight. And Mayweather has, as I said, many of the skills of Marquez, but he's a bigger, quicker version of Marquez. So for those folks that are in the Floyd Mayweather camp, I'm sure they point to these fights and feel it shows their man has the edge. However, as we've seen in the other common opponents, you can't be 100% sure because in the other cases, Pacquiao had the advantage. But it's worth talking about these because it's a part of their past history. Now, I want to mention that on Friday, May 1st, the night before the big fight, you can come and visit with me. I'll be at Legacy Stadium in the Palazzo, Las Vegas, and I'm going to be doing a Q&A. I'm going to be also chatting with all of you and doing a photograph session. But we'll have a microphone set up. You can ask me any question you want about the fight. I'll break down the fight. And the Legacy Stadium is a beautiful facility. It's a great race and sports book there with Emeril Lagasse's great food and a terrific space where we can visit. And because seating is limited, reservations are suggested, and there will be a 2-drink minimum at the event. But come on over and visit with me, and we'll have fun the night before the main fight. Now, as you know, we have been doing trivia with you to give away some fight posters and also coasters that have the fight logo on it. And we want to congratulate our 2 winners thus far. Jody Ankar and Christopher Cohen have been winners. And we have a different way now to give away another prize. And for that, I'm going to bring in the producer of our show, Dan Parks. And Dan, why don't you tell everybody how they can now win one of those posters and coasters?
Absolutely, Al. You know what? We wanted to give an opportunity for everybody to get in here this time, and we also want to hear who you think is going to win this fight. So this is what you have to do. At the bottom of the video here, put in your comment. Who do you think is going to win the fight? If you want to put in a comment about how you think he's going to win the fight, that's actual little bonus points there. But we're going to take all the entries. Everybody who puts in something in the comments, we're going to put you all into a bin, and we're going to make a drawing. You're going to get one of the sets of coasters, and you're going to get another one of these great posters signed by the man himself. So go ahead and put a comment in the comments down below, and we'll do a drawing, and we'll have some brand new winners for you.
All right, that's great, Dan. We're looking forward to giving away those prizes, and we're looking forward to this weekend when Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather will finally step into the ring, ending what has been an enormous build-up to this fight.